First, you figure out how much your time is worth. How much do you think time for you is worth? Is there a dollar amount? It's a lot because you don't ever get it back, right? So you're taking the time, and if you're working, then that time is equated to a dollar amount, which is significantly less than what you should value your time for. But you take that dollar amount, and if it's $20 an hour, okay, and you purchase $20 worth of food and you let it sit and things get to it or it goes bad, then you have wasted an hour of your time and food. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we're all about pantry preparedness. And time is money. Money buys food. Money grows food. Gosh, if you grow it yourself or you raise it yourself, it's worth even more than what you pay at the grocery store. But when you don't store it properly, you're wasting money. You're wasting time. That's something that none of us have a whole lot of anymore. Proper food storage is crucial for maintaining your pantry. Literally, one mistake could wipe out most of your pantry. That's horrific. And I've talked to people that has happened to, whether it's rodents or whether it's insects. Okay, so we want to take a look at how to properly store your food, not only for your consumption, but so that you're not wasting money, because it doesn't do you any good if you can't eat it. So the top 10 mistakes of food storage are really pretty simple. One of them is failing to rotate your stock. I have talked to so many people over the years that say, I built it up. I spent the money. I stacked it up. I put it on the shelf. I don't want to eat it. I worked too hard to get it there. You're missing the entire point of this, okay? Preparedness is not a one and done. It is not a, I have it. Now I don't have to do anything else. I can go back to doing whatever. No, it's a lifestyle. It's a choice to be better prepared for whatever comes at us any particular day. And so it's something that you need to use, because you don't stock it unless you use it. If you use it, use the oldest one first, the newest one last. A lot of people have a little trouble with that, okay? Oh, it's too hard to pull them out and put the new ones behind it. So is food poisoning. Food poisoning is hard too. Implement a first in, first out system, however it works for you, okay? It's very important to rotate your stock to make sure that you're eating the oldest of an item first before the newest. It's just common sense. The second biggest mistake is improper storage conditions. Now, this has everything to do with cool, dark, and dry, okay? So dry, you want to make sure the humidity level is not out of this world, especially if you're lucky enough to have a basement to do this in. You want to regulate your humidity level, okay? Dark, you want to make sure direct sunlight is not landing on your food stores, regardless of whether it's dry storage or canned storage, okay? Sunlight is not your friend. And then temperature. The ideal temperature is between like 50 and 75. Oh my gosh, we have a heat wave going on right now, and it is a feels like of 96, and I've seen significantly higher than that. What's going to happen to my pantry? Did I just lose everything? Do I have to throw it all out? No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. 1 or 2 days is not going to break you. It's not going to ruin your food storage. Go through, check your lids, make sure everything's okay. But if you're looking at a prolonged amount of time, 3 months, 4 months in 100+ degree temperatures, that could impact it. Most of the time, what it's going to do is impact the shelf life. It will lose more nutritional value sitting there in the heat. The lids could come loose. If it is commercially canned, you could compromise those cans. If it's dry storage, you could compromise those, but not quite as much. So cool, dark, and dry to the best of your ability. Don't worry about the other stuff, okay? If you are looking to stock up for 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, that few days are not going to make a difference. The next one is one I'm getting hit with a lot lately: pest control. Now, this is everything from mice. Mice happen. I live in the country. Mice happen. They really do. Or pantry moths, that kind of thing. Pantry moths are no fun. I'm going to put a link down below for a product that I have used, that I recommend, that I've recommended a lot over the last 30 days, where if you think you've got pantry moths, you just want to put these in your pantry and it will help take care of the situation. However, that's not all you need to do. It's very important that you figure out where the pantry moths are and eliminate that food, and then start doing it a little bit different when you put it up. You want to make sure to put stuff in airtight containers. So mason jars with lids on them and rings, okay? Or those airlock, the lid lock things, anything that's airtight. Now, a lot of those reusable gallon jars that you can get, they used to have pickles or whatever in them, those are not airtight. And if you doubt me, put some sugar in it, put it in your counter, and come back to it in a month and tell me how hard your sugar is. They're not airtight. So you want to make sure that they are airtight. If any air can get into that container, so can critters. The fourth mistake, which kind of goes right along with number 3, is storing the food in its original container. I'm not talking about canned soup or jarred pasta or whatever. I'm talking about dry goods. So your beans, your rice, your pasta, okay? Anything that comes in a box or, a bag like that, original store containers, get them out of there. Just make them gone. Put them into airtight containers, because those are not airtight. And if those critters find that stuff, they have a new home and they're very happy, and they're going to tell all their friends, and then all of them are going to have a multitude of babies, and you're going to be buying a lot of the stuff that's linked below. You want to make sure to transfer the food out of its original container. Put it into glass jars, put it into Mylar, put it into the top lock things, put it into 5-gallon buckets that you can seal tight, okay? So that is really important to keep pests away. If mice can smell it, they will get to it. If they're hungry enough and curious enough, they will chew through it, which is why I really like Mylar in the 5-gallon buckets. Because if I don't care what size you put in there, okay? I put 2 cup, 1 cup, I put quart, gallon bags, whatever the case may be, a 5-gallon bag, once they're full and sealed up, I put them into a 5-gallon bucket and put a lid on it, because that's like double the protection, right? Anything that you can do to make it so that critters and insects don't find your food. Number 5 is neglecting moisture control. Now, if you do have a basement that's very humid, or if you live in a very humid climate, then controlling the moisture is super important. A dehumidifier will save you a ton of money. In the long run, it will make sure that your food it isn't impacted, okay? Allowing the moisture to get to dry goods can cause you mold, mildew, it can spoil. I mean, it's just not good. So you definitely want to use desiccant packets or moisture absorbers in storage containers. It's very helpful. Ensure that storage areas are well ventilated and dry. That's hard to do, but with a dehumidifier, it makes the world a much better place. It really does. Number 6 is overlooking best by dates or expiration dates. When you're purchasing them, it takes time, especially when you're purchasing, like, okay, fine, shrimp, okay? The best by date on this is October 2027. But when I picked it up at the store, I made a point to stop and look at each date, because sometimes their stock isn't always exactly like you think it's supposed to be. They might have found, oh, I didn't realize we had this case of shrimp in the back. Okay. So they put it out, and wow, the best by date's like a month away. Now, if it goes over that date, it's not a big deal. If it's sealed, if the integrity of the container is not hampered at all, it's still good. So don't let that, dissuade you. What it is that's a best by date. Kind of like with our canned goods, if you're a canner. It's best to eat it within a year, okay? But if it goes longer than that, all that means is that you're losing micronutrients little by little by little, okay, over the course of the years. Ugly chicken in its jar is still perfectly good, edible, and nutritious 10 years after you canned it. As long as you canned it properly, used all the safety measures that you're supposed to use, and stored it in a good place. Same thing goes with these. They will be good for quite a long time afterwards, even if it's a pop top. Oh, Lisa, but you shouldn't get pop tops. No, sometimes you just don't have a choice. So stop with your shouldn't, okay? Pop tops are good, but they are much easier to compromise than the solid top on a can. That's all. Don't freak out about it. There are better things to freak out about. Number 7 is storing bulk items without any kind of preparation. There's preparation involved. There are steps that you have to take when you are putting bulk items up. If you buy a 50-pound bag of black beans, it's not just, look it, I've got a 50-pound bag of black beans. No, it's not. No, 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 no. Either separate it into smaller Mylar bags, separate it into quart or half-gallon jars and seal it up. Then if you've got the Mylar bags, put it into buckets after that. Date it. Make sure you know so that you can rotate through that too, because dry goods, it's just as important as it is your canned goods to make sure that you're rotating it by the dates, okay? Now, beans will last you a very, very, very long time, but that doesn't mean you should keep the oldest one for memory's sake, okay? No, use the oldest one first. Get through it first before you start on the new one, and you want to be aware of what those dates are. So the preparation and repackaging of bulk goods is very important. As far as food storage mistakes, not having a variety is number 8. Not having a variety of different kinds of food that you like is a mistake, because you will become very bored. I don't care how hungry you are, okay? I'm not talking to the end of the world. I'm talking about emergency situations. This is here to save you money, to help you fight inflation. This is here to help you through any kind of financial, job loss, medical, whatever the case may be, emergency. It's not about the zombie apocalypse, okay? It's about making sure that you have what you like to eat. And as you know, you don't like to eat the same thing every day for weeks on end. Again, it's not a just set it and forget it kind of proposal. You want to make sure that you have a variety of things that you can use in different ways to make really good meals. Your spices and your herbs are a big help with that too. Number 9 is when people forget about food sensitivities or food allergies for other people in their household. That's not good, okay? Pay attention to those. Be aware of those. There are some foods that everybody is sensitive to. So you just can't eat a whole bunch of it. So don't stock up, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of something that is going to give everybody gas for weeks on end. You know what I mean? Beans don't do that if they're cooked properly. Anyway, so you want to pay attention to food sensitivities and food allergies. If you have someone in your household that is very sensitive to textures, you want to be aware of that so that you know what you can stock up, what they will eat in case. That's number 9. Number 10 is the most important one as far as I'm concerned. Water. Water is very, very important. If you have all of this, but you have no water stored up, you've got next to nothing. Be sure that you find a way to store some water. There are ways, no matter where you live or what you're doing, whether it's cases of bottled water, whether it's gallon jugs of water, whether it is a water filtration system, whether it is tablets that purify water, there are ways to stock up water. Just because you're on city water doesn't mean that there's not going to be a point where you can't use it, because that seems to be happening a lot lately. Stock up on your water. Make sure to maintain that stock. Rotate that stock, okay, just like you do with anything else, and you are good. You want to look at least a gallon a day per person and your animals. I'm talking dogs and cats, okay, not horses. So make sure that you have water stored up for that, and I like the and better, but or a way to filter water. There are all kinds of different ways that you can filter water, all kinds of different products. We'll be covering that coming up real shortly. However, water is something to give some serious consideration to. It costs less than $6 for 40 16.9 ounce bottles of water at Walmart. Less than $6. In the end, if you utilize all of these mistakes that I've listed and do everything that you can to avoid them, then your food storage is more secure than most anybody else's. I've seen a lot of people battling pantry moths this year. I've seen a lot of people that have problems with mice this year. I mean, this is why I store my toilet paper on the top shelf. Yes, mice climb. Very adeptly, I might add. But as long as I can see it, as long as that's at eye level and I don't have to duck down and move stuff around for it, I can tell whether something's been messing with it. I'm paranoid as all heck that they're going to get in and make a nest in my toilet paper, right? I don't want them getting in my food. I don't want them doing their business on top of my jars. So you don't want pests. You want to go out of your way to make sure that they don't come in. Everything that you can do to secure the best insurance that money can buy is a good way to spend your time, and you won't be wasting money. If you have any other ideas for how to keep your pantry more secure, throw in the comment section down below. If you want to see different things that you can put up, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe, stack it to the rafters.